On Bike Rebellion this week, I spoke to Adam Deutsch. Adam is a college professor, a father, a poet, and a prolific YouTube creator. In this conversation, we talk about health, climate, electric cars, trains, politics, the mind-body connection, police enforcement, and infrastructure design. Adam's YouTube channel, Riding Bikes in San Diego, has for years chronicled the roads and bike lanes of this town, and is a model of how one person, if persistent, can make a difference. We met with Adam on June 18th, 2025, at the North Mountain View Park with Mission Valley as our backdrop. Enjoy. On Bike Rebellion this week, I'm speaking to Adam Deutsch. Adam is a poet, an educator, and a bike advocate, and a prolific YouTuber. I found out, which is very sort of related to this conversation. So if you would just take a few minutes, tell us a little bit about yourself, just introduction, what you're passionate about.
All right, I do all those things. I am I think my bio on the socials is like poet, professor, parent, photographer, and pedaling around. Yeah. I teach English at a college that's about 10 miles away from my house. Mm-hmm. And so I commute by bike every day or take the bus. Sometimes I drive. I do have a driver's license, but I try not to drive as much as possible. Yep. It's pretty easy. I live in a one-car family. We have my wife and I have one kid, and it's working. Like, we've been able to do the one-car thing for a few years now.
That's right. And you're from San Diego, right?
I'm not from San Diego.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from New York. I'm
Okay.
from Long Island, born and raised on Long Island, and moved here briefly in 01 and then again in 03. But in 08, I came out here permanently.
Okay.
And haven't left since.
You rode back east bicycles at all, or recreationally, or how so?
I grew up on bicycles, like, when you're a kid in the suburbs on Long Island,
yeah.
The bike is freedom, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so, I mean, maybe we would take the bus to get down to the beach, but we would bike all over the place.
Around the neighborhood.
Around the neighborhood, everywhere. Yeah. And I used to meet my father up at jobs. He was a construction worker, did home contracting stuff, and I would be able to come home from school or bike from school to a job he had in the neighborhood, and then I'd help him haul scrap metal out, right, and stuff like that. And then,
how old were you when you remember that? Like, approximately
I was doing
age?
that when I was 14, 15, okay. 13, 14, 15. Yeah.
Teenager.
And before that, you'd bike to your friend's house. It was back in the time where, I'd leave school and I'd leave a note. You'd leave a note for your folks on the table, I'm over here. I'll be back at this time.
Went to so-and-so's house.
And it was be back by dinner.
Right.
Or be back by dark, in the summer months when it was lighter. So it was how you got around. And then, right, like most people, I think I got my driver's license, or a friend started driving, and then I would walk a lot, knowing that I'd get from A to B, but then from B to C, somebody else would drive. So right, we would walk a lot. I spent a lot of time being a pedestrian in my later teenage years. And then I feel like went to college, and it wasn't affordable or sustainable to have a car on a campus.
Right.
And I think SDSU over here doesn't even allow first-year students to have a car on campus. So, they can drive if they could find parking, but,
right,
and I
probably got a bike or two stolen the first year. That was my experience.
I've never had a bicycle stolen.
Oh, wow.
I've never had a bicycle stolen. I have a brother who got a bicycle stolen when he was in third grade or something. And I think I saw it happen through I didn't see somebody cut the lock, but I saw someone through my own classroom window, riding a bike around the parking lot, the playground for a second. Mm. I was like, oh, that looks like my brother's bike, huh? And I didn't think much of it, because I was 7. Right. And turns out his bike got stolen. So I feel like the lesson I got was how to lock up your bike.
Yeah.
A U-lock, go through the front wheel, go through the frame, and or take off the front wheel and go through the frame and the wheels on the rack. And that's how I lock up when I go to Padres games.
Cool.
And yeah, but I feel like a lot of people, I fell out of biking for a while and then got back into it just because it made more sense than driving. Like when you're in a college town or when you're broke, like it wasn't affordable to have a car. It didn't make sense to have a car. Like maybe you can swing the gas money and the insurance and registration, but then you get some major mechanical problem and it's $800 or $1,500 or you start looking around for a beater car for like $3,000 and that becomes difficult to swallow.
Yeah. And as gas prices approach $5 and $6 a gallon too, it's unaffordable for everyone. I think some people choose to work extra to afford the cars that they drive sometimes, but the added expense is certainly a lot.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
But also avoidable.
Yeah. So when you sort of re-engaged and started like bike commuting, for example, like has that been a 10 years ago, something like that, or was it longer ago?
A bit longer.
Okay.
I think I started biking. So two things happened. Like my villain origin story is people who drive think that I'm a villain, I guess. About call it 2011 or so, I was living in North Park. I was living at Texas and Lincoln.
Okay.
And I was driving home from work, and there was an event happening at University and 33rd or something like that. And I was like, all right, I'll stop there and I'll hang out for this gathering, and then I'll head home afterwards. It's on the way. And I found myself circling for parking so much that I found myself 2 blocks away from my place at Texas and Lincoln.
Yeah.
And stupid me, the parking garage, I'm pretty sure was there.
Yeah.
I could have just parked in the parking garage, paid $5, but like most people, I was like, no, I'm going to find a spot.
Yeah.
And I found myself 2 blocks away from my own place. So I had a driveway, I parked in it, and I walked over there, and I was like, oh.
And you had just wasted probably 20 minutes,
I wasted
right?
at least 20 minutes, and I was like, this sucks. And I was like, and on the walk, I was like, what? I'm never driving in North Park again. I'm never going to look for parking in North Park ever again.
Yeah.
And I stuck to that. I was just stubborn, and I was like, you know what? I'll walk. If it's in North Park, I'll walk. If it's in North Park or Hillcrest, I'll walk.
What amazes me too is with parents nowadays is how you have to drop off and collect your kids in the car line. And today there was in Balboa Park, there was, I assume, what was a camp where there were all the
on Balboa Drive,
where all the people were picking up their kids, and there was a line of 70 cars all the way out onto Park Boulevard.
And they just increased parking on Balboa Drive on the West Mesa.
Right.
They took away recreational space for more parking.
Yeah, but it was, what I'm saying is it was terribly dangerous through there. And I ride that every day, and that's as dangerous as I've seen it, with people just really aggressively trying to park.
I've brought my kid to that camp.
Yep.
And I just posted on my YouTube channel the last couple of days, find it when this airs, I guess. But I just posted how previously it's either go through Hillcrest, so take University, take down 4th, and then cut back over on Upis to 6th. But then I'm going 2.5 blocks out of my way. So 5 blocks, the whole, if you add it up. Mm-hmm. And to go on Balboa Drive on that one-way south. Or cut through the park, and then you have to go the wrong way on your bicycle. And drivers aren't thinking about that. They're looking at their phones, they're catching up with their kids, or they're focused on where they need to go. And I don't think any of them are trying to put anybody in harm's way. But you have to ride your bike against how people are driving. Mm-hmm. So the last couple of days, last week when I was doing that same commute to the camp, I took that path over Upis, which I discovered when you ran the DRT.
Yeah. I love that.
I took that. I was like, holy cow! This is a revelation,
Yeah.
And I was on an e-bike, so it was easy enough to take the climb. Mm-hmm. And but that spits you out at the top, so you can go in the direction of all the other traffic.
Yeah.
The the other thing that motivated me to get on a bike, other than spite and rage,
and parking.
Well, frustration. Beyond frustration, you know, I was in my, you know, early 30s maybe, and you know, like metabolism starts slowing down, and I was probably like drinking more beer than I ever had in my life, and I found myself up around like 220 pounds, which is a lot for somebody who's 5'9". And my doctor was like, your cholesterol sucks and you're overweight, so you have to go on a pill. I was like, how do I not go on a pill? How do I try to not be on medication? And he was like, you have to diet and exercise. Like, so I was like, all right, well, I'll get a bike for exercise. Like, I'll take my bike out and I'll ride for an hour in the morning. And I actually started riding on this.
Around here,
Like I would, you know, just go up and I would just go around the neighborhood. And I started riding so much that I brought my bike in for like, you know, a tune-up after like a year or 6 months. And I think it was a year. And they're like, your cassette is shot. Like, like, what are you doing on this? I'm like, about 10 miles a day. They're like, you did not buy a bike to like ride like that. And I was like, oh, it was like a low end. It's like $300, $250. So I was like, all right. And then the more I was riding for exercise, the more, and then riding in North Park and riding around every place I needed to go, it just became like, this is easy and this is good. And then it's like, all right, well, let me get a different bike that fits better and that is more suited to what I'm doing. And you know, and then it just evolved that way.
You're a pretty you know, mechanically inclined, but also like a bike nerd. Like, you have nice bikes now. Like you have good taste, I would say. Some really cool stuff.
None, if you add up all my bikes, they cost about what one of the cars.
They're not expensive, but they're
all
they're
of my
cool.
bikes come in at way under 10 grand.
Oh yeah.
You know, like for all of them.
Yeah.
And it's just up there because like I have a couple of e-bikes that like were a little more. This bike was free.
Yeah.
And this is like this is my hardcore get around, mostly my commuter. It's a light touring bike. I got in the neighborhood.
That dent's a little scary, but
you know, the dent is scary, but it's not structurally compromising.
Right.
If it ever feels like it's risky, I have a few other. I don't have them, but I know what frames this is similar to. And I don't remember them off the top of my head, but a buddy of mine does.
Just strip it.
So I keep an eye out, and I'm like, well, maybe I can move all these components to another thing. But I mean, I got this for nothing, and I actually log every year how much money I put into all my bikes and how much we put into the car. And, not including gas. And even not including the gasoline, it's a fraction for for 7 bikes. It's a fraction of what
it's a couple $100 versus. I mean, I did the math for what my truck cost me when I was driving it, and it was between $8,000 and $10,000 a year, depending on how many miles I was doing. And that's a lot of bikes. That's a lot of bike maintenance.
It's a lot of bike maintenance. I mean, some bike parts are super expensive, and some bikes are crazy expensive. But not the ones I ride.
No, you can get a bitchin' bike for less than $1,000.
Yeah,
totally,
absolutely.
Even and you can get a really good e-bike that will take you a lot of miles for less than $3,000 now.
Yeah.
So I think affordability is definitely on our side in terms of an argument. But so your like health journey that you had, was that a year where you like dropped the weight sort of thing?
Yeah.
Or?
So it took me a while to get my cholesterol numbers in check.
Yeah.
But they got much better, and I dropped a bunch of weight in like 20.
That's like probably 40 pounds, right? To where you are now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about that. And I dropped a bunch of weight, and I'm not at like the fittest I was, but I'm in my mid 40s now. So, and I'm a parent, and you know.
But it keeps you in good health and reasonable shape. You know, it's not everybody's an athlete, and we don't need to be at 50 years old.
And I don't consider myself an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did not play sports when I was a kid, except for like a season of Pee Wee football, and it was a mistake. But I didn't play sports when I was a kid at all. All I did was ride my bicycle.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I was a really healthy kid. I wouldn't say I was in really good shape or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I used to live on Taco Bell and pizza.
Yeah.
Which I think is relatable. I think that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
just simple stuff. I mean,
simple stuff.
especially when you're single. I mean, that's what makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I've had to give up cheese in the last few years.
Oh,
But
that's
that's because I developed like an allergy.
Okay.
So like it makes me sick now. But when I gave up cheese, now my cholesterol is like dead on. You know, it's just fine. But yeah, I mean, the health journey that goes with it is you know, and I don't consider myself a super healthy person, really, but I mean, like, you know, I try to be a vegetarian, like,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be a jerk about it. So like, if I go somewhere and somebody's prepared meat, I'm not going to be like, no,
Yeah.
you know. And I mean, I try not to buy it. If I have control over what I'm eating, I try to be vegan about it.
Dude,
But-
I eat very well. I eat good quality food, but I eat what human beings have eaten for at least 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Like I don't do processed foods. I process sugars and stuff. I try to really keep it to where it's like food that we evolved to eat. And I think, you know, I think that's maybe a good path.
So I had this kick for a while.
Mm-hmm.
For a good like 4 or 5 years, I didn't buy any food packaged in plastic.
Okay, yeah, I think
And it
you
was
told
like
me about
it was
that.
environmental stuff, right? It was like for environmental concerns. I was
That's
like,
so hard.
Plastic is bad. No food packaged in plastic. And you know, like there were some bread manufacturers who put stuff in paper bags, but then you know, I mean, if I went to the deli counter, they wrap it in paper,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's like a thin layer of plastic, and I was like, so I would stop buying it, and that worked out really well for a long time. Like it was just a lot of fruits and vegetables and like good quality meats.
Yeah.
When I would eat meat, and it was working. Glass jars and tin cans.
Yeah.
And but now I have a 7-year-old kid,
Yeah.
and it's hard to pack lunch and
Yeah.
like be like, all right, well, you're gonna have carrots or grapes and even so, the stores, even the healthiest foods, they put it in plastic
Yeah.
for preservation. And so I kind of got around to this idea that it's like it's a systemic problem.
It is.
And I feel the same way about cars.
Yeah.
Like I can ride my bike all I want, and I'm an activist about it, I suppose. But also like my riding a bike is not going to like move the needle. This is a systemic problem. Like people need to drive less. Like that's. I'm not saying ban cars. I'm saying people need to drive less. Like it's a imperative for humanity.
Exactly. And from an environmental perspective, you know, as we look at our climate goals, for example, you know,
we have a climate
you know,
action plan in the city of San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, forget about 1.5 degrees at this point. I think we're there already. But even to the climate goals that we have set, we're not on any sort of path to getting to where we need to be there.
No.
And the sort of dates that we're working with at, you know, be it 2035 or 2045 for net zero or whatever they're saying, we're not on any kind of trajectory where we're ever going to get there.
It's not us. It's the automobile industry and the oil industry,
Right.
and the shipping industry and the transportation industry. Like,
It's capitalism.
and here's the thing: if the auto industry tomorrow was like, you know, all cars are going to be electric next year.
Right.
I mean, some people would be like, "Oh no, I don't like that."
Bless you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Some people would be like, you know, "No, I don't want that." But then it would come in and they'd be like, "Oh, okay. Well, this is what we have." Like,
Right.
you know, it's
But electric cars don't even get us where we need to be.
No,
if
electric
you look
cars
at the
suck.
numbers, if you
well,
look at the
not
numbers,
only do you have to
it's-
produce the power,
right.
but let's say all the power was renewable. Let's say it was all clean energy. It was all solar, wind, and you know, hydrothermal, whatever. Let's say all of that was powering the batteries, which it's not. The tires are wider and release more dust and particles. And the cars themselves are heavier.
Yeah.
So you go through tires faster. And because the cars are heavier, they when they hit things, they do more damage.
Yeah.
So,
and they require a lot of precious metals and all of
mining,
these things.
Okay, so so we're not drilling for oil, but instead we're drilling for precious metals.
Right.
Like we're mining, we're pulling lithium out of the ground, and we're mining all kinds of places we weren't mining before.
Right, and we're ruining the groundwater in the process.
Absolutely. You know, so electric cars aren't going to help. And I mean, I think about getting an electric car, or like I think like, well, when we get another car, maybe that'll be electric. But then I'm like, I mean, I have a neighbor who like had to drive out to Arizona, and he was like, "Oh, I messed up. I didn't know where a charging station was, and I got stuck like before I got to Phoenix,
having to get towed or something."
I couldn't get there.
Wow.
So no, he just had to he had to find his way to a charging station. He's like, then I had to sit there for a few hours.
Yeah.
Like we had to kill the time. Like I drank like 5 cups of coffee,
right,
in an hour, and then ordered a bunch more. It's not going to help. The way I see it, we need to design our society so that people don't have to drive.
Right.
Now, I put up a few videos the last few days. I was out in Palm Desert, which I got some awesome friends out there. I was out there doing some work, and it's a cool spot. There are some cool places to go, but the whole place it's designed car dependent.
Right.
Like there's no trolley. I don't know what the bus service is like, but I know that to get from San Diego there, it would take me like 8 hours.
On a bus.
Yeah, and it's an hour and 45-minute drive.
Right.
So.
And a high-speed train could be there in 30 minutes, but
oh my God.
we won't even go there.
Dude, like, I mean, there is no high-speed train.
I know.
Like, sometimes, in fact, you're lucky if there's an Amtrak from here to LA.
Yeah, most days.
You know, sometimes it just shuts down because we got the eroding bluffs in Del Mar. And, you know, I mean, in my perfect world, I would love a high-speed rail that went from Mexico City to Vancouver. Yeah. And, like, that would be...
And everywhere in between.
Yeah, I mean, stop, Mexico City, Rosarita, Tijuana, San Diego. Stop in Orange County, around Fullerton or Irvine, and then we could do LA, and all the way up slow. Everything that the Amtrak hits now.
Yep.
But yeah, get me. I would sooner take a high-speed rail to Seattle. What would it take? 5-6 hours, maybe.
Yeah, if it was a good one.
And then, I would sooner do that than go to the airport, wait for an hour and a half, fly for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then get picked up from the airport and sit in traffic. Yeah. If I can get dropped off in downtown, Seattle, Capitol Hill.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll eventually end up with trains, but I think that's probably a ways out at this point with the political winds that we're experiencing.
The politics in the United States is a total fucking nightmare.
Crazy.
It's a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows what we need to do.
Right.
But nobody's willing to do it. And I mean, we could spin out into like a super why?
No. Is that like a generational thing? Is that because there's a certain amount of generational momentum where previous generations have done things this way, and we need to continue that? Is it just that, or is it the money motive, or is it?
I'm not a political scientist.
Right.
I'm not an expert on politics at all. But it seems to me that, and you're a Gen Xer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the very tail end of it. Political power skipped your generation.
Yeah, seems to.
For the most part.
Yeah.
That's why we have, we have a lot of people in leadership roles in government who are in their 70s, 80s, not as many in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
And had the people in their 40s and 50s now been able to get involved in politics when they were in their late 20s, 30s, early 40s for the last 20 years, then I think things would look different. But you have a older generation who has held on to power. And I'm talking specifically
power and money.
I'm talking specifically about, democratic leadership.
Yeah.
Also, it's money and power consolidated. And it's, I think, I don't know if it's at the root of all the problems, but it's definitely shown us that there's gaps in the voices involved in the conversation. And a lot of people who would have made different choices weren't there. So now we're in the situation we're in. And I mean,
So we're still listening to baby boomers and letting them make the rules.
Yeah.
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 That's the problem.
And they have political power, and they get the money from other, people who are older who contribute to their campaigns, because we have a campaign finance system that, lets people with money do what they'd like.
And a lot of, I'm not anti-senior citizen or anything, but I think a lot of older people have also been co-opted by certain types of media where they're
I know your sticker.
they're just being programmed. They're just being hypnotized, if you will.
My general guiding philosophy is that everybody's always doing the best they can, even if they're dead wrong about a topic. I always think that people are doing the best they can. And I think that we have manufactured instability that causes people to make selfish choices. So, if we had a robust social safety net, people wouldn't feel the need to treat everything like an investment. I don't think we would have the housing problems we have if people didn't have to use real estate as an investment. If there was a social safety net that took care of people in a way that they didn't have to sacrifice everything that they worked for in their lives.
Right.
So I mean, it gets to a point where if you tell people, hey, you're going to have to make a bunch of sacrifices, people are like, no. And if that means I have to vote for this person who's saying these dog shit things,
right, that aren't true.
They're dehumanizing all these other people, but they telling me that they're going to work for me, so I'm going to go for them. I mean, it's a lot of manufactured crises that we could get out of if people wanted less. Consumerism and capitalism, I think, ruins everything, and it ruins bikes. I don't know if you look on YouTube and talk to folks at bike shops, we're in a tough time, especially with talking about tariffs and everything. We're talking about steel and aluminum, that's what bikes are made of. Yeah. We're not all moving over to carbon fiber, and even those are manufactured overseas. So but all of our components, our chains, our cables, our frames, our rims, spokes, racks, handlebars, seat posts, these are all manufactured, and they're going to get more expensive. And it causes anxiety for the bike shop owners. It causes anxiety for people who want to get in the hobby. It causes anxiety for people who want to do any repairs on their own. Yeah. And it's literally a manufactured crisis.
Well, we got a couple more years of that, and we'll tough it out. But
we'll do the DRT and we'll practice.
Exactly.
So that when it gets really bad, at least a few of us will know what to do.
So going back to sort of to that. I mean, we talked about sort of the health advantages and the financial and stuff like that. The disadvantages that you sort of experience.
The only disadvantage, and I think that this is not actually a disadvantage. I think that this is, again, a symptom of
just
capitalism.
Just a compromise, or
this is a symptom of capitalism. Okay. The older I get, the less I want to be in a hurry for anybody. You know what I mean? I don't want to. My time is not money. My time is my time. It's valuable to me. I want to use it. And just to be clear, my commute works for me because I could drive. I could get there in 20 minutes and get back in 20 minutes, and I could do that drive if I wanted to, and exercise for an hour a day. Right? So that's, with my commute and exercise, an hour and 40 minutes. It just so happens my ride takes me about 50 minutes to do. Yeah. So I've taken the same exact amount of time I would have spent exercising and commuting and just made the whole thing my commute,
Yeah.
right? The drawback is that sometimes I need to get somewhere faster than I can ride there.
Faster or farther, yeah.
So like today, before I got here, I went up to La Jolla to look at, meet up with a friend at a gallery up there. And we were hanging out for a little bit, looking at some stuff. But I was like, okay, like gonna meet up with him, hang out afterwards for a minute, pick up my kid from camp in Lake Marina, and then get back here.
Yeah.
And part of me was like, I could do this on a bike. I think I could have done it on a bike. I could have definitely gone to La Jolla and gotten down to get my kid. I probably could have met with
Which
my
is
buddy for a
about
drink.
17 miles from here each way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have taken the 8 to Bay Park, gone up, picked up Rose Creek. Actually, I wouldn't have gone Rose Creek. I would have gone Bay Park into PB, and then I would have taken that all the way up into La Jolla Village. Because if I took Rose Creek, I would have ended up going up
Too far east, yeah.
Gardner, the G.
Garnett?
Not
Who you
Garnett,
talking?
not Grand, not Garnett, the other G. I always forget it. It's the worst.
Don't know.
G.
Mission? Hornblende?
No, it's with a G.
Grant and
Garrison?
Garnett are the only ones I know.
Garrison? No, there's
Well,
another
that'd
road.
be a long ride
It's at the end
anyway.
of Rose Creek, like right at the base of UTC, and then
Okay.
so whatever.
Oh, I know.
But that would
yeah,
take
yeah.
me up to Torrey Pines, and then I would have had to drop down to the village and go all the way back. But it could have happened.
Yeah.
But I was on a time crunch.
Yeah.
That's the only drawback to it.
Yeah.
But it's not a time crunch because I had to go up to La Jolla. Like,
Right.
I never go to La Jolla.
Right. And
You know? And I could have taken the trolley.
Yeah, you could make that work if there was a reasonable train that went up there,
And
which
Blue
the
Line
trolley
is
goes
good.
there.
I
Yeah.
could have taken my kid, but I can't get back to this neighborhood on the trolley.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the trolley stop is actually right there. But I can't
you gotta get up.
from there to here. You know, the trolley is a quarter mile away from where we're sitting right now.
Yeah.
But we have to drive 4 to 6 miles to get there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, so tell me like about your like YouTube thing, because I've seen probably 10 or 15 of
Oh,
your
you're way
segments, but I mean there's like 800
At
and
least,
some.
Yeah.
But you're basically filming your various bike rides.
Yeah.
And you're especially sort of commenting on driver behavior and infrastructure. Is that really the
So-
gist of it?
The motivation to wear the camera on my helmet came from aggressive drivers and people threatening me and putting my life at risk. And when I say threatening me, I mean like with their cars, like
Yeah.
pointing their cars at me, shouting, being aggressive, and putting me in danger. So I was like, I want to document this in case something happens to me. And so I got this camera. It was less than $200. It still is. There's a newer version, less than $200. It films in front of me and behind me. And it's good quality. I mean, I think they look all right.
Yeah, and you've had it a long time, right?
I just replaced the camera about a year ago.
Okay.
But I had this other version. I had the DB1, and now I have the DB5.
Yeah.
But it's good. The battery life on the first one was diminishing, so the battery life on the second one's pretty good. But for less than $200, it's not a huge expense.
Right.
When it lasts for like 4 or 5 years. And I started riding it to get these aggressive drivers, but then not every day is a gauntlet. I'm not. So I
Right.
started being like, you know what? First of all, I don't want to have a YouTube channel that's negativity all the time. I don't want to just be complaining. I don't like pointing out problems unless I can also contribute to solutions.
Yeah.
So pretty quickly I was like, hey, since I'm wearing it, let's look at this road. Let's look at this road. Let's look at this neighborhood. Let's see what it's like to go from here to here. Not pointing out a problem necessarily, just what does it
Analyzing.
look like?
Yeah.
Let's look at it. Let's take it apart. Could this be better? Is it okay? Stuff like that. And then I started realizing that projects are happening all the time. It's cool. Let's ride here and then see what happens after they do the project. And So now
before and after. That's
yeah,
cool.
a little before and after. And I think now, for like a year and a half, I was just doing, it was the raw ride with just the wind noise and the cars.
Yeah.
And then for a little while, I started like making some music to go with it.
Yeah.
Or I featured music from friends of mine who are in bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And then I got a microphone and started narrating over the rides. And once I started narrating, I think that things took off with it a bit more.
Yeah.
I already knew that some people were watching it. Like I knew some city workers were watching it. I knew some folks in Sandag were aware of it.
Yeah.
But and I think that they watch it still. And part of my primary audience, I want people who are in power to be watching it.
Yeah. People with influence. It's important.
And then I was at one night or whatever, and a friend of mine who was at a public meeting sent me a text and was like, dude, a city council member just name dropped you in a public meeting. And I was like, I've never met that council member. I've never sent them an email.
Yeah.
Like, I don't live in their district.
Plug it. We're going to plug it. It's Riding Bikes in San Diego.
Yeah,
it's
Riding
the
Bikes
YouTube
in,
channel.
Yeah. So Riding Bikes in San Diego. It's easy to remember.
Yep.
If you're like, oh, who's riding bikes in San Diego? That's the one.
Yeah, that's you.
But this council member was name dropping me, and it was and they said I didn't understand what it was like to ride until I watched these videos.
Yeah.
And now I get it. And then that council member put a memo forward to the city to get a bunch of roads designed in District 7. And some of them have gotten done,
That's awesome.
And then I was at a public meeting with that. I mean, it's Raul Campillo, Councilmember Campillo.
Yeah.
And he name dropped me again in this meeting. And I was like, what's up? And he was like,
you should
hey.
Take your helmet in there with your camera and film that.
Well, I mean, and now I see him as much as people in the city see their council members,
Yeah.
And I communicate with his office because I ride through his district quite a bit on my commute. But like I'm not like on a first name basis.
Yeah.
I don't think. But I mean, go to a bike event once, twice a year. Maybe I run into, him or D3's council member or D9's council member, and I very rarely I go to city council, but the channel has given me a way to speak to these people without actually committing that much more time. Like, I'm like, all right, let me make this for you.
Right.
And sometimes things happen and I send it to the council members and I'm like, hey, this happened to me. Do with this what you will.
Right.
And usually I get positive responses back. And I think that I'm a pretty conscientious rider. I always get people commenting who are like, oh, you didn't stop at that stop sign. But then I make some videos like about it, like, hey, stop signs are necessary like when people are sharing a space and we need to manage safety.
Yeah, sometimes it's faster that you get, or it's better if you get through the stop sign, roll through a stop sign to get out of someone's way, or there's
and then I start making
reasons.
these videos, so I start researching like 12 states have stop as yield laws.
Right.
And some states of a lower number have red lights as stop sign laws. So like there are some places where you can ride and if you're at a red light and nobody else is anywhere and you're on a bicycle, you could stop, look around and then go.
Yeah.
Nobody's at risk.
Yep.
We're not scofflaws like,
right.
putting people in danger and people slamming on brakes. That's not what's happening.
Right.
It's safer. Study after study has been done on this. It's safer for somebody in a car to stop and look. And it's safer for somebody on a bicycle to keep going when it's clear for them to do so.
Yep.
I didn't make it up. I'm not a scientist. Like,
right.
I don't have a degree in urban planning, though I did apply to and get into the program at state, but then I got the job I have now and it's too cush for me to go back to being a grad student.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, the city could have used you.
Maybe a second career. Maybe when I retire from
Right.
the school district, I'll from the college district, I'll look for something in the city.
So you record all of your rides, and then I assume you don't post everything. It's just, you know, you'll post like once a week or something like that.
I post almost daily.
Okay.
Almost daily.
Okay.
And I mean, I try to keep that healthy balance between like, hey, let's just look at this road, and like this happened to me, and I want you all to know about it because this is messed up.
You ever record good poetry when you're riding?
I do not incorporate my poetry on my YouTube channel. I don't even promote my book on my YouTube channel.
I'm saying when you're riding, does that come to you? Does it?
Yeah, well, yes. One of the great things about riding a bicycle, and going back to our conversation about like pros and cons, it's not just like physical health and economic health. I think that there's a lot of mental health attached to it too. Like I get to work things out in my head when I'm on my ride. And I always have my notebook on me. Rarely, very rarely do I stop.
You pull over and write down, yeah.
Sometimes something hits me and I'm like, all right, hold on a second. I pull over, jot down real fast, and then go back to it.
Yeah.
But usually I ride along and I just like think about things, and sometimes I listen to music on a little speaker, so not in my earphones, but just like, you know, I can still hear everything around me.
Yeah.
And you need that mental time, and you can't do that driving a car.
Yeah.
You're moving too fast in a car to pay attention to the road and like be able to muse a little bit.
And there's so many other distractions just, you know, in driving.
You can move 10, 12, 15 miles an hour and like be tuned into the ride and also work things out in your head. But it's very difficult to work things out in your head when you're moving 80 miles an hour.
I find like when I'm riding, I find almost a heightened sense of awareness. That's, I don't know, just because you are moving and there's, you know, everything is in flux. I find it to be a time when my senses are probably as sharp as they ever are when I'm riding. Like I don't sort of,
I can see that.
You know, because in a car you can, you know, just be driving along and daze off or whatever. But when you're putting in the exertion, but also, you know, you have to be on the ball when you're riding on the street.
I mean, I think that the connection between your mind and your body is an important thing to acknowledge. In a car, you're not moving your body except
you're sedentary,
for your arms and your ankle.
Your
like,
foot,
you know, and if you're on a long drive and you use cruise control, you're not even using your feet, right? So yeah, you're sedentary, but I think that moving, I mean, it's the same as going for a walk. You know, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, go for a jog. I don't jog. I don't run unless somebody's chasing me. Like moving your body, exercising. I mean, some people go to the gym and like, some people really love like lifting weights, but like, you know, I haven't done it. I've actually thought about getting back into it, but I like jumping rope a lot. And especially in the summertime, because I don't ride as much because my commute isn't on. I want to start jumping rope again, but I had gotten some injuries last year. I fell off. I had a bad bike fall about a year and a half ago now, and that's healed up. But then I got hit by a driver a few months ago, and I'm healed up from that. But I need to get back on the jump rope thing. But even that, like, you know, you're in tune with your breathing, you're in tune with your body. There's a rhythm, and the rhythm somehow aligns with or syncopates with your heartbeat. And that's all the blood that's moving through your brain. That's all the blood that's moving through the rest of your body, and that's good for you.
Yeah,
that's actually, we've always lived like that, except for like the last 70 years or so.
Yep.
Like the last 70 years have actually been really bad for mind-body connection. Like,
well, yeah, just,
you know,
there's so much that's changed, and it is still changing, and it's nothing that we're familiar with in our entire existence. It's just all new.
Yeah.
But so what's your so on this bike, what's your sort of security protocol? You lock up at school? Are you able to bring your bikes into like your office or something to lock up?
I bring my bike into an office.
Yeah.
And I leave it in there because my office is always locked. And I thought about locking it up on campus, but I mean, I'm there for 6 to 8 hours a day, and I spoke to. We have very minimal security staff on campus, public safety staff. So I was like, and there are no cameras mounted at the moment. And I think that even when cameras, if they get mounted, they're not going to focus on the bike rack. Like they're going to focus on heavy traffic places, right? So I once asked them, like, hey, which bike rack is best to lock up at? And they're like,
none of them.
Don't just lock it up in your office. And that might be anti-bike bias on their part, but whatever. I mean,
it seems like colleges are always targeted by bike thieves. It's just goes with the territory. That happened to me when I was in college, and every college that I've ever sort of been at, there's always been sort of that understanding that your bike is not safe there, which is a problem.
I mean, every time I've been on State's campus, like I've done a couple of things there, and I'm on campus for maybe 2 hours, and I don't mind locking up, but I do ride the beater.
The beater,
because I don't care if the beater
bike
gets stolen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind. I mean, I do care. I every bike I ride, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite bike, But I mean, I'm sentimental about every bike, but I would hate to lose it. But it's not the end of the world.
You usually use like a U-bolt?
So usually I use a U-lock. I got one of these things. I got one of these Abus.
Oh yeah.
Or Kryptonite.
Yep.
But I think this is a popular Abus design too. But this is good. This gives me a little more flexibility, and usually I can get this around my bike, the rack, and my kid's bike.
Yeah.
So I like this.
And you use that on the cargo bike probably too, right?
I use it on the cargo bike. I use the U-lock. The cargo bike, I could use a simple U-lock because I also have a pin lock that goes through the frame and back wheel.
Yep.
And I take the computer off, and once any thief who knows what they're doing, if the computer's not there, you're just stealing a problem for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never gotten violent on a ride. I've never like swung a lock at anybody or a car or anything.
That is good for bike lock justice.
This is a chunky.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh yeah, that's a weapon.
It's kind of chunky,
Yeah.
And I don't advocate people getting violent with drivers. I mean,
But if you need to defend yourself, that would
get a
work.
little swing on here.
Yeah, that's that's a mace.
Oh yeah. I don't advocate for violence, and I've never struck a car with a lock or anything. But I understand.
Yeah.
I have a video up where a few months ago where a driver hits me with his car, and I say it like that on purpose. Often we say things like, "I got hit by a car," but that puts the onus on me,
right?
Like grammatically, like I did not get hit by a driver hit me with their car,
right?
And I have that whole video up on my channel, and
what was
it took a lot of people on the comments like, man, because my lock fell out of my back pocket onto the hood of his car when I was on the hood of his car, and
so he hit you from behind.
No, I was going straight on 30th and going through Redwood, and he was going through the light and made a left turn. We both had the green light, but I had the right of way. Okay. And he went, he hit me. Luckily, he only hit my front wheel towards the front. So it got a little bit there, but I didn't bend my fork. This is a new wheel I got at one of the local bike shops. It's awesome. I'll plug MJ's for that. Yep. They
Scott and Chris and
got
them.
that wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carissa was great, and I replaced the wheel, but I mean my lock fell off, and people in the comments like, I would have put that lock right through his windshield, and I was like, I mean, and I'm angry, right? But I'm also like, I just got hit by a car. I just got hit by a driver and their car. So, I mean, a few minutes later in the video, like we're talking just fine, and we exchanged information, and he paid me what I needed for the repairs, and I probably could have gotten more, but I'm not selfish. I'm not like, oh man, I can get a whole new bike out of this. Like, I could have. I mean, he told me, he was like, tell me how much a new bike is. But I was like, you know what, man? Like,
well, you got hit by a nice person. I mean, I've had people, hit me or run me off the road, and then just start yelling at me, and then come back and like chase me because they ran me off the road, and I took notice of it and yelled at them.
Do you have a camera going?
No.
here's the worst part. Even if you had a camera
It
going,
wouldn't matter. Yeah.
I've gotten in situations where people are harassing me and like threatening me. And I've had things before where a driver was super reckless around me. And I was like, oh, this is messed up. And I sent it to the police. And I was like, you know, not that I love cops or anything, but I'm like, this is part of your job.
Yeah, this is exactly what you guys are paid for. Yeah.
And I'm thinking along the lines of, in New York City, there's an idling law, right? There's a law that says vehicles, trucks are not allowed to idle. And if they are idling, you could video them. And if they're idling for more than 3 minutes, if the video is more than 3 minutes long, you send that video in on the app. And when the city sends the ticket to the driver, you get 25% of that ticket. The person who took the video. So they get fined.
I love that.
They
law.
get fined. Let's say it's $100.
Yeah.
I think it's more. I think it's like $300.
I hope.
But let's just say it's $100. You take 3 minutes of video, you send it in. Maybe the whole process takes 5-8 minutes. You get $25. That's not bad, right?
No, it's worth it.
But around here, we don't have anything like that. And LA has a really good. They have a municipal law that they have a bicycle safety law that says that drivers can sue in civil court for harassment. It's an anti-harassment law for cyclists. I don't remember exactly what the law is, but I have it bookmarked so I can send you the code. We don't have anything like that down here, but I got in touch with the police once. I sent them a video and they're like, that's messed up. Do you have the guy's face? We need the face. And I'm like, well, why can't it just be like a parking ticket? Like you would tag a car that's parked illegally.
Yeah.
Like, because it's a moving violation, it's different than a parking violation. You know, there's agency involved. We need to make sure that we get the right person who was driving the car. I'm like, all right.
Well, if you'd had a picture of the face, it would have been something else in my dealings with San Diego police.
So I get into another thing, and I get the guy's face. I'm like,
yeah,
dude looks like a single fucking testicle hanging down there. You know, just all bald ass from here. And I'm like, here's what happened. Here's the license plate number. Here's his face. And they're like, well, I don't know if that's really reckless driving. And also, you two had like the verbal altercation. I don't know. Seemed like you were both in the wrong here. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works, you know? Yeah. And then I got into another thing on Mead, and I was like, yo, once again, this driver on Mead, I had to get out of the bike lane because an Amazon delivery driver was in the bike lane.
Was parked. Yeah.
I pull out. I had to be out of the bike lane for 30 seconds. This driver who was speeding up on me goes into the lane of opposing traffic while an oncoming car is there. They go into the bike lane on their side, and then he goes around, and swear to God, he gets right in front of me, and I went like that. You can see on the video, I give him a peace sign. He stops his car, waits for me to pass, and then starts taunting me with his car. And we get towards the traffic circle, and I stop because I'm like, I'm not getting muscled out of the circle, and I'm looking right at him. And the only reason I'm looking at him is because I want to get his face, because the police told me, get the face. Yeah. I get the face, and I'm like, what's up? And the guy's just shouting out his window, fuck you. And I'm like, what's going on? You know, like, I send that to the cops, and they're like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have the video initially for when these things happen, but now these things happen, and like, at least there's documentation that the police didn't do shit.
Yeah, I mean, San Diego police are, as far as I can tell, and I've had a fair number of occurrences where I've been run off the road, or, you know, just where cars have been parked in the bike lane for, you know, seemingly hours,
Right.
you know, or they're just consistently parked there at the same time. And you know, you can go through the Get It Done app if you have way too much time on your hands. And
the Get It Done app is not fast.
No, but the Get It Done app is good for certain things, but the San Diego Police Department don't seem to be enforcing anything with regards to bicycle safety. It's not. Bike lanes are just, you can park in those no problem.
I think
every day of the week. But also, you know, just people running red lights, people running red arrows, people not using their turn signals. Like, you can't get a ticket in San Diego right now.
Well, after I got hit on 30th and Redwood, worked it out with the guy. Had he run, I would have had the whole thing on camera. That would have been good for me, you know.
Yep.
Luckily, I haven't been hit and run. But I called the city afterwards. And I was like, hey, I just want you to know that I got into a collision here. I was riding my bicycle, a driver hit me, and this is the kind of crash it was. And I just want you to know. They're like, why? And I was like, because you keep stats about where crashes happen, and I want you to know for the stats. I want you to know that a crash happened here.
Yeah.
We resolved it. And like, well, did they run? It's like, no, he stopped and we worked it out. It's like, well, did you go to the hospital? I'm like, no, but, and they're like, well, unless
so it didn't happen.
Unless he ran or property was damaged. I was like, well, my property was damaged. And they're like, well, did you report it? I'm like, no, because we worked it out.
Right.
Like as people, but it's still a thing that happened
right
here.
So your statistics are fucking useless.
Well, and so they're like, yeah, we don't track that. I was like, so what you're telling me is all the stats are undercounted.
Yep.
Like maybe not all of them, but I'm telling you that there should be a stat for a non-fatality collision between a driver and a bicycle. I'm not inflating this. I'm not making this up.
Right.
Like there should be a stat. This is a stat, but you won't count it. And they're like, yeah, it's not.
That's a really, really good point.
That's depressing.
That's a really, really good point because
that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a public policy problem.
It really is.
Because then people are like, well, I'm not equating it, but there's a lot of violence that happens in our society that doesn't make the stats because either the police ignore it or people don't even bother reporting it
because they know the
police are going to ignore it.
Right.
And I am not equating, my experience with things like, violence, that other people experience. But it is a kind of violence. But I think that the way my situation was ignored, it's also ignored for things like domestic violence, for sexual assault, for, all kinds of harassment, life-threatening situations.
Yeah.
Once again, not equating, but we have a lot more violence in our society than we know about because we have gaps in the way we report these things. Yeah. If that makes sense.
No, I totally agree. So with what you're there you go. With what you're sort of doing with the podcast,
the channel.
With the channel. The
if we call it a podcast, my wife's gonna get very upset.
the infrastructure that you ride on here in San Diego is that safe in your opinion? You ride up to Grossmont College. That's
mixed bag.
Okay.
Mostly not. Mixed bag.
You ride through Mission Valley, obviously.
So my typical route is I take Meade to Fairmount to Montezuma at the Rolando Library.
Yep.
I duck back into the roads behind that Ralph's, and I take Saranac to 70th because El Cajon Boulevard is not a safe option.
Yep.
Take Saranac, and then I take 70th over the 8 and up Lake Murray.
Wow.
And to be fair, only 4 blocks of that are on busy roads without any type of infrastructure.
Most of that has a wide shoulder, right? But not
most of it has a gutter, bike paint.
Yeah.
Some of it has flex posts. But let's be honest, paint is not protection. Flex posts are not protection. As a matter of fact, I see emergency vehicles just go through flex posts all the time.
Yeah. And
it's starting to dawn on me like, oh, the reason they're there is so that drivers can actually park there when they need to. Maybe it's enough to deter a driver from carelessly smacking through it, but a driver who intends to be in the bike lane, who doesn't care about a piece of plastic smacking the body of their car,
yeah.
Open season. on parking, right?
Well, I mean, you see the flex posts 6 months after they're installed, and they're just shattered.
Dude, the flex post they just put on Fairmount and Montezuma, within a week, multiple of them were gone.
Yep.
In fact, on Fairmount and Montezuma, I have a video about this. Only half the hardware is holding it down. There are 4 points to hold it down. They're only being held down on 2 corners. Down the whole line.
Wow.
There's a couple of stretches where all 4 bolts are in, but why waste money on the hardware and the labor?
Right.
You know?
They're temporary anyway, right?
I mean, they're temporary. And not to pat myself on the back, I think that I complained enough about those routes that maybe my point of view was instrumental in getting those installed, but they're superficial at best.
Yeah.
You know, they make people feel better.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much they actually make us safer.
I really like what they did, like, for example, up in like Cardiff area where it's like the curb, you know, flex posts, but it doesn't have to be a concrete curb that you have to rip the street up to pour. This is a curb that they have a machine where you can have a basically a truck drive down the street, lay this curb that's 8 inches tall, and that little curb machine will do 10 miles in an hour sort of thing.
I'm just telling you right now, we're pissing off the VCs. You know who the VCs are?
No.
VCs are vehicular cyclists.
Yeah.
So these are people who came up reading a book. Who's the author of this book?
Which book?
John Forrester.
Okay.
So there's a guy named John Forrester who wrote a book, in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It went through multiple versions. Not a traffic engineer, mechanical engineer, but not a traffic engineer, not a sociologist, not an expert on urban design.
And now those are the best practices for the...
Well, there's a generation or two of roadies, people who
road riders, yeah.
Road riders, and nothing against road riders at all. But they have this mindset. John Forrester proselytized, that's the word I'll use for it. He proselytized this mindset that a bicycle is a vehicle. And if you ride your bicycle according to the rules of the road, the way a driver would be on the road, other drivers will respect you. And you should ride like as if you're a car.
Yeah. In traffic.
And signal and be where you're supposed to be, and take the lane comes from this philosophy. Yep. And I would argue that philosophy has held back safety in our cities for decades. And I'm not the only one to argue this. And if you want to hear experts talk about this, The War on Cars has a 2-part podcast on this experience. But I believe in taking the lane when you're in a certain situation, but I also believe that we should have dedicated bike lanes. Yeah. The good folks up in Del Mar, when they put those bike lanes in with the protection, the VCs in the neighborhood are staunchly against that. Yep. They think that the hard barriers trap the person on the bicycle in the lane. And so when we're in that bike lane, we're trapped and we can't get out because of the hard barrier. And I think that...
Which is totally untrue.
I mean, if you have to veer out of the lane because there's an obstruction, yeah, you're going to have to negotiate a bunch of pieces of concrete. But I'd rather slow down and negotiate pieces of concrete than have a driver drift into me.
Yeah, there's cars 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour going down that road looking at the waves. They aren't looking at you.
It's a picturesque...
It is.
It's a picturesque place. I mean, it's gorgeous. That's why the road's there. They put it there because it's amazing to look at. Yeah. That's why the train goes along the bluffs. It's amazing to look at, right? Drivers are going, they feel like we're trapped. And every time somebody has any kind of injury in there, they're like, oh, you see, tear these out. And, that might be good for a certain class of rider, a certain type of person
and
who's usually male,
athlete,
usually older, athletic.
Yep. Riding 60, 70, 100 miles that day sort
touring,
of thing, hauling ass.
Yeah, they're hauling ass, but I want infrastructure to get to work. I want infrastructure where parents and children can ride. You know, I mean, I stopped on the way over here. I stopped at Adams and 33rd. My kid rode his own bike.
Mm-hmm.
I want roads where my kid can ride his own bike.
Yep.
You know, and taking the lane with a bunch of drivers in a hurry behind you, distracted by their cell phones and an iPad mounted on the dashboard.
Yep.
That's not the situation that's safe for me and my kid.
No.
You know, like, and I'm a pretty confident rider. Like, I say my commute's not that bad, but also I've been doing it for years. I'm a fairly confident rider, fairly, you know, abled to do it. But I want infrastructure where people who don't have my ability, my confidence, you know, everybody should be able to get around their neighborhood and around their city, you know, without using a car.
If we actually want people to do this to get to our climate goals and to just basically have a better society, if you will.
Sometimes I leave my house and I get on the Mead bike lane, and there's a couple, an older couple who they have mechanical wheelchairs, and they ride in the bike lane. They're because the sidewalk is not dependable. Like, the sidewalk is uneven. The sidewalk has dips from driveways, and not every curb has a curb cut that has visibility. We have the daylighting law now in California, which is helpful for that.
Yeah.
But they ride in the mobility lane, in the bike lane, and I'm like, good.
They're welcome to do so. But absolutely.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah, you will never have a cyclist give you a hard time.
It's there for people to use and not have to use cars.
Yeah.
You know, and those folks are my neighbors. Like, you know, I don't know where they're going. I don't know where they live, but they're using the design that we have, and that it's good that we have that design. Yeah.
Mead is, I like what they did with Mead, but you are sharing space with pedestrians a lot at intersections in that specific design.
Multiple designs.
Yeah.
Mead feels like a patchwork. I can't speak for Sandag, and I know some great people who work at Sandag.
Yep.
But it kind of feels like they were like, let's try this. Like, let's try these different things.
That's what they're doing.
And just see what they look like.
Experiment.
So I feel like Mead is a really comprehensive experiment. Like, there's a lot of variety on Mead.
Yeah. Yeah. They were trying some things out that they weren't sure were going to work.
We'll put a bump out here, but over there we won't. And we'll you know, it's slight differences. I had a video the other day that I put up where I'm like, I just noticed that at like 37th. So it's a bike lane and then parking on the inside. I noticed after 37th, there's no more buffer for the door zone. Before that, west of it, there's a buffer. So if somebody opens their car door, they're opening into a buffer. And then the bike lane is beyond that.
Right.
But at 37th, 38th, that buffer goes away, and now it's just the door zone bike lane. The geometry, I don't think that the road gets more narrow.
Right.
But they made some design choices. Maybe the lane itself gets a little wider, but maybe a turning lane gets reincorporated in there. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to understand how a lot of those decisions get made sometimes, because I'm sure that the active transportation sort of designers at Sandag are trying to do things with cyclists in mind, but I don't know that cyclists. Yeah, I don't know that cyclists are maybe consulted in ways that might be helpful.
No, they're not.
No, they're really not. And like, you know, a few of the people that I've known at Sandag over the years have been cyclists. I mean, Chris was a cyclist.
Chris,
gosh, I'm trying to remember. He lives right in my neighborhood. But one of the engineers, one of the active transportation guys.
I don't think like with the ponytail. Yeah. I see him around at events sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think Everett rides, but
Everett rides.
Does he?
Oh, Everett rides, man.
Okay.
Dude,
is he a vehicular cyclist or what's his?
I don't know if he comes straight from that, but he's definitely a roadie. And I like him. He actually lives out by Grossmont.
Mm.
And he bikes he doesn't bike downtown. I think his office is in like Kearny Mesa mostly.
Yep.
But yeah, no, he's
Interesting.
hardcore. But he's a hardcore roadie.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a vehicular cyclist, and I'm not. But I also think that he has a difficult job.
Oh, yeah.
That,
Well, he's one person.
He's one person.
We need 10 of him.
But you're constantly having to balance with the interest of drivers.
Yeah.
And it
And the
becomes really
board.
difficult.
Yeah.
Because the goalposts are always moving.
Yeah.
And I mean, like on a 20-foot road, we're asking for 5 feet, and they're acting like we're asking for 18.
Right.
You know, like anytime you have a conversation about safety, immediately people move into parking, and we can't possibly compromise your ability to park. We can't compromise a person's ability to store their private property in public space
For free.
for free. How dare you?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's not what the conversation's about.
Right.
Like when I initially proposed doing this, I thought about the Adams Avenue and 35th Rec Center. I know it's loud there because I thought that it was interesting to talk about Adams Avenue because I think something needs to be done about Adams Avenue. I think that it's an essential route.
A lot of people ride on it.
It's a great route to get things on.
Yeah.
But it's too fast. A few months ago,
And there's no bike lanes.
well, a few months ago, there was a post up on around town about the neighborhood planning group meeting. And the only question on there was, is it safe to ride in Normal Heights? And like 50 people turned down. And the answer was pretty much like, no, it's not.
Nope.
And people were like, here are my experiences. And immediately, a bunch of the people who are very concerned about their ability to drive and park made it about parking. And that's not what the conversation's about. I might be in a minority here. This might be an unpopular opinion. I think that we can make Adams Avenue safer between the 15 and the 805 without compromising parking. I don't know if we even need a dedicated bike lane. I think that we can do traffic calming to make it safer to bike and slower to drive. And I don't think we have to compromise parking. As a matter of fact,
It's a wide road, and there's a center lane. Like you could do a lot. There's a lot of lateral space.
Well, the center lane, some people say take out the center lane and then you can get bike lanes in. But a lot of businesses are there. Not all of them have alleys in the back. Not all of them have alley access. You need the center lane for deliveries.
Or to allot other space for deliveries.
Or a lot of other space. Maybe on the side streets,
Yeah.
take out 3 or 4 parking spaces, make those loading zones. But again, then you're taking away parking. But
That's the future, though. I mean,
there's got to be a compromise somewhere. I think that, and some businesses on there, I don't want to take away their parking. Like, for example, Vine and Vine. It's a beer and wine shop.
Yep.
I love them. It's a beer and wine shop I frequent most often. Shameless plug. I understand he has 2 green spaces, 15-minute parking.
Mhm.
He needs those. Somebody is not going in, buying a case of wine and carrying it 2 blocks away to a parking spot.
hmm
They park out front, they come in, they get their thing, they walk outside, they go.
Yep.
Nobody's parking there all day. Nobody's parking. The employee, they're not parking there. Customers, they're in, they're out. I get that. Buying a case of beer, buying a few 6-packs. How far can you walk holding containers of liquid, right?
Yeah.
They need their parking out front. I don't want to take that away from them. I think that we can make it safer without taking away parking in a lot of these places.
Yeah.
That's my compromise. I think it's possible. It means that driving will get slower. Maybe the speed limit needs to be 10 miles an hour. Maybe it needs to be 15. Let's make it 20. What is the bike shut off at? 28? The ones with the throttle?
Mhm.
28? Maybe the speed limit should be 28 miles an hour. I think that's a little too fast.
Yeah, it's too fast.
I don't like e-bikes with throttles. I know
Yeah,
some people
me
do.
neither.
I'm not a throttle e-bike. I like pedal assist.
Yeah.
But one of my bikes cuts off at 20. The other cuts off at 15. Those are fine enough for me.
Yeah.
I can get up a hill with those, but we can make things safer. But the conversation about safety cannot always break down to just parking versus bike lanes.
Well, and that's true, and there needs to be compromise on motorists' part as well.
Oh yeah.
And they don't like to compromise.
I mean, I think we should have geofencing. Every car has the technology now, new cars. If you drive into an area where the speed limit's 15 miles an hour, your car should throttle you down to 15 miles an hour.
Right.
We
have the technology.
We have the technology.
Not the will.
But then people are like, well, no. And then they say something about freedom. It's like, is this about like freedom? Like, am I infringing on your right
America
to drive, in excess of the speed limit?
These are patriots.
Well, and the speed limits, but they exist for safety. And here's the worst part. All of the conversation about bike safety is also about driver safety. All these places where bike infrastructure goes in and speeds get slowed down, not only does it make things safer for pedestrians and people riding bikes, it's also safer for drivers.
Right. If slower.
It's safer for them. They don't get hurt and killed as often, and they don't get into situations where they are now liable for hurting and killing other people. There was a conversation on Blue Sky earlier. Somebody was like, I'm not interested in crunching the numbers about like whether the bike lanes are worth it, whether the bike infrastructure is worth it, And I was like, you know what? I understand. I like that person a lot. And I think they have a good argument. But I think the numbers are worth crunching because if you factor in the amount of money the city pays out in settlements, we could have a lot of bike infrastructure that we don't have. But the money's been spent. For example, somebody was hit, and forgive me, I don't remember their name. They were riding around Fiesta Island, and they were hit by a driver. Granted, the driver was inebriated, and they were reckless in all kinds of ways, but the court found that the design contributed to the crash. The city paid out $24 million for that person who lost mobility in most of their body.
Wow.
Do you have any idea how many miles of bike infrastructure we could have for $24 million?
If we were just doing, the smart stuff, the curb machine and the green paint the right way,
yeah,
that buys a lot.
I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but there's no doubt in my mind that the family of Matt Keenan are going to get a civil case in their favor. And the city is going to be on the hook for this guy who got manslaughtered, on Camino del Rio North. The city, that money, I bet you that the money they spent is way more than what it would cost to put a hard barrier on Camino del Rio South to stop a driver from being able to kill somebody in the bike lane.
And that road is still deadly. And
they have not made any changes in the years since he was killed.
What gets me is where he died. I ride that all the time.
Yeah.
And they don't even trim the sticker bushes that grow 3 feet into the bike lane. So right now you have a 2-lane road where people haul ass, and there's a 2.5 maybe foot wide bike lane that's marked all the way along from Texas down to Mission Center Road, I think it goes to.
Yeah.
And it's full of sticker bushes. There's tumbleweeds in the bike lane that are growing out into the bike lane. And it's one of the most unsafe situations I've ever seen. And not only will they not fix it, they won't even maintain what's there. And
let's just say you make it in the bike lane, you get up to the crossing at the 8 and good luck. Good luck. The story of urban infrastructure is a story of disconnection.
Yeah.
And a route is only as good as its weakest points. And there are so many roads where it's like, they're like, look, we did this. And I'm like, great. Why does it stop right here? And they're like, well,
road to nowhere.
What do you want?
Lane to nowhere.
Yeah. So it's comical at this point. But it's only funny if you're not getting mowed down by a driver.
So in some recent conversations I had, we talked about kind of infrastructure funding, specifically bicycle infrastructure funding. And it's obvious that we don't have the political will in this town to really make meaningful change. And we're spending 2% of our transportation budget on bicycle infrastructure at this point in time. Going forward, how do we get there from here? Because it's hard to stay optimistic and to sort of be a cyclist and you know, I'm fired up about this and you're fired up about this. Like, we want more people to do this. We want to sort of spread this joy that we experience and the health benefits and all of these things that we've experienced personally. But if we don't make the investments, if we don't make it safe, we are just wasting our time.
Yeah.
As a region, as a city,
absolutely.
So we need a just political reckoning sort of thing or do we just have to keep plugging away and just doing what we do and just make as much noise as we can and occasionally some bike lock justice that might make the news? I
mean, so much of what happens feels like, you know, one step forward, two steps back. Is that the expression, or is it two steps forward, one step back? One step forward, I think it's one step forward, two steps back.
I think it depends on.
But I'm not a mathematician either. I mean, it's funny. I was in a conversation the other day with someone who actually works in government, and they were like, you know, I love the Bay Area. The thing is, like, they made it hard to drive and the transit's really good. And I was like, well, in San Diego, like, you know that, like, we're in the process of making it harder to drive. I mean, like, that, and they're like, yeah, but we don't have the transit. I'm like, we will when people start demanding the transit because it's hard to drive. Like, this is like a chicken and egg thing.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, but people need to be able to get places on transit. And the transit, I mean, MTS is coming up on a cliff, you know, because the city refused to vote for a sales tax increase that would have helped fund it. So, but I think that when you take away things like reliable public transit, people are going to... Is that what
is going to happen? I think so. Transit routes will just start closing down, sort of thing?
Either the headwinds will become even longer. Headwinds, is that the right word?
Yeah. Stronger.
Well, I mean, so I was at USC's campus for an event a few months ago, and I had to get back to Union Station to take the train home. And I was like, oh man, like, I got to get to the metro. And I'm going to exit, but I was like at the wrong gate, and the guy's like, no, you have to exit over there. And I was like, because the metro was right there. And I was like, and by the time I got over there and through, the metro was going off. And I was like, man, now I'm going to have to wait like a half hour, because I had San Diego timelines in my head.
Yeah.
I get up there and there's a worker there, and I'm like, yo, when does the next metro come through? And they're like, 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5, 10
6,
minutes.
7 minutes. And I was like, oh. Sat there, I waited. Next one came. You know, and then it was like, well, do I want to get off at this station, or this station, and transfer to the other metro I need?
Yeah.
And I was like, I got from USC to Union Station in like 22 minutes or something.
Wow.
Like, it was absurd. And I had been on a drive to that same spot in somebody else's car, and I got a ride. It took like half hour.
Yep.
You know, like, this is great.
Yep.
And it was like, what, $1.75 or something?
You know, and I don't know. I've gone down some rabbit holes, and we'll sort of wrap this up pretty quick. But I've gone down some rabbit holes recently where it's like, to build transit, what does that take? like boring machines and
Yeah. What are we bulldozing? Where are we putting
well,
it?
no,
Like,
but all of the technology exists, and the geology in San Diego is actually really good for boring machines and building tunnels and things like that. It's clay and it's sandstone, and there's the geology is favorable to it. So we could, potentially put a subsurface train system here in San Diego if we made that investment for, it would be a commitment, but it's certainly.
but you know that we used to have a more robust trolley system.
Yeah,
we used to have a
trolleys,
light rail.
yeah.
We had a
All
trolley.
over downtown, North Park.
It went down El Cajon Boulevard.
Yeah.
It went down Adams Avenue, 30th, Park, Rosecrans.
And that was up until the late 40s or early 50s, something like that, I think.
I think it was 10 cents to ride out to OB on a trolley.
Yeah.
And they tore them all up. The tracks are still under the asphalt on Adams Avenue.
Yeah.
They're not usable. Like, you can't just excavate them and be like, all right, drop a trolley on here. But we had robust transit. So when somebody says, like, we don't have, it's like, we had it. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a documentary.
Yeah.
The movie with Bob Hoskins and all the cartoon characters. It was a documentary. Like, it's about how public transit was dismantled for the interests of development
the
and cars.
automobile, yeah.
And we had it, though. And we could have it back. But San Diego always struggles with the fact that we're a big city.
Mm.
San Diego fights kicking and screaming being a city all the time.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about bikes?
Let's take a look at your ride. Let's examine your whip here, your bar bike. Tell me about your bikes.
All right, so this is my daily rider. This is my beater. It's the old REI brand, Navara, the Verita. And this is great. Some people are a little concerned about the dents and dings, but I got this for free in the neighborhood, and I really try to keep this as budget as I can. I have the rack off of another bike. This is the bike that I got into a crash on that a guy hit me when he went through a light he shouldn't have gone through, and he tackled the front wheel, so the front wheel is pretty fresh.
Yeah.
But other than the wheel replacement, all I had to do, I put a new cassette on the back, front derailleur I had to fix, and I changed it from old SRAM double tap shifting to bar end, and these more simple rim brakes.
Yeah.
Actually, the brakes are the same, but I just put these more simple brake levers on, and
you got your little shopping bag there, which is great.
Got a little shopping bag. It hooks on, and I had actually gotten this for my mother-in-law, and she recently got a fancy set of panniers for her bike, so
good for her.
She kicked it back to me. And I love this bike though. This is my beater, all over the place, lock up outside the ballpark. And it's just really dependable. The gearing is also pretty solid on it. It's a 2x. I think that's 50-34 in the front, and then I put an 11-36 cassette on the back. And that is awesome range for the kinds of hilly terrain we have in San Diego.
Yep.
So I can do a little bit better than 1-to-1. And I keep it looking.
This is the one you probably put half your miles on, or is it less than that?
No. I probably, it's the easiest to grab in the garage. It's the easiest to get out on. It's one of the lightest bikes I have. That little front bag on the front that I got secondhand.
Yep. Oh, that's
little front bag. Yeah, that's I got it secondhand, but it's super handy to just drop a few things in.
Yep.
I also have a Somafab rack on the front that was budget because the weld is bad over there, or it's a little off center. Mm-hmm. So they were selling that at a super discount. The bell I got for like €3 when I was over in Amsterdam for a minute.
Cool.
And literally, like, the trip was like 36 hours.
The electrical tape is a nice touch.
The electrical tape is necessary. I mean, there's a little rip here. It's the 3M. 3M makes a tape that's really good in the sun.
Yep.
So it's solid.
So you don't get
lasts.
sticky crotch.
Yeah,
I hate that.
It lasts, and then I have it holding on the bar tape also.
All right, so let's look at the truckster over here.
Then this is my light cargo bike, and this is a total Franken bike. It's an old Trek 930, 26-inch wheels.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I swapped out the front fork for the Crust Clydesdale. And it's just, when I saw this thing around, I think I saw it on YouTube or a video, and I was like, oh man, like, no.
The fork?
I saw the fork at a group ride. A buddy of mine rolled up with it, and I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
I want that. And I was able to come across one. And then I had a wheel. I bought all the wheel parts from a BMX shop online. And so I was like, yeah, let me get an obnoxious pink rim and a purple tire. And I put a dynamo hub on it so that I could power lights.
Yeah.
So the front and rear are powered by the dynamo.
Cool.
I got the basket over at the bike co-op, Bikes de Pueblo.
Yep, just a big walled, it looks
Big
like, or
walled
something
basket.
similar. Yeah.
And it's got these fat brackets that fit on the Clydesdale.
Yep.
And I also hung it out and I gave it a little hit with some marble paint,
Okay.
which is a technique I saw on a YouTuber named Second Life Bikes
Okay.
in England. He did that to a bike, and I thought that was really hot. So
And the marble paint adds strength.
no, it's a marble pattern.
I'm
It's
just kidding.
Yeah, it's just this this stringiness, and they come in black, and I thought it was cool to spice it up a little bit.
Dude, this thing has plenty of style.
Give it a little flair, and front disc brake, but I still have the cantilever brakes on the rear.
Yeah.
The gearing is original, 3x7 in the back, and I have lugs on here to put a Surly Ted trailer on it.
Yep. Very cool. Steering stabilizer, 26-inch in back. 20-inch, is that 20 in front?
20 in the front,
Yep.
26 in the rear, and you need the dual kickstand. Because if
So
you have
cool.
it loaded up, it's
Yep.
going to be a lot more stable that way.
It's a great idea to do with an old bike that you know you can update it and go to disc brakes in the front. You know, there's a lot of advantages to doing this with an old bike.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I got the bike secondhand also. I got it at one of the shops. It was from the owner's private collection. I got it for like $200.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
Doesn't have to be fancy.
it's a good deal. Yeah, I have been in the market for like a stump jumper or a rock hopper, and I came across this, and for $200 I couldn't say no.
Yeah, why not?
Saddle I got at one of the Velodrome swap meets for $5.
Dude, I love that swap meet.
So, I also love pink, so I got the little accents
Yep.
all over, and
And the electrical tape here too.
yeah, well, there was something rubbing there. There's
Probably scratch, yeah, to your chain.
There's a little wear on that stay,
Yeah.
so I just wrapped it up so that it doesn't rust.
Cool. Let's look at your Boda.
The Boda is another favorite, and usually I have a rack on the back for the child, but I recently brought a keg from one of the local breweries on it, so threw it on there and strapped it down. But the Boda is, when we got this, we decided we didn't need a second car anymore.
Yep.
And yeah, it does kind of everything. My kid sits here with a rack on the back, and or I haul stuff. I put this piece of wood on here. So Yuba used to sell a piece of wood that was not only a step, but it was also a tow hitch for a bicycle.
Yep.
And they don't sell that anymore, so I made one myself.
No, that's cool. And you can just pop the kid's wheel in it, and it's a trailer now.
Or an adult wheel. I mean, I moved both of these bikes. I just throw the wheel in that notch.
Yep.
And then I strap it to the rest of the frame. And the long tail cargo bike does the job every time.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and this, I mean, I think, oh, watch out. It gets about, it's dry. You're okay.
Yeah.
It gets about 35, 40 miles of charge, but I don't really use it on the flats. I like to really try to only use the electric when I'm on a hill.
Yep.
When I'm on a climb. But the kid's getting bigger, I'm getting older, so
Yeah.
usually I'm in eco mode on it. But,
Yeah, so integrated lighting, mid-drive, probably 10 speed.
9 speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just super comfortable,
Super comfortable.
bar and mirror. Probably have a speaker somewhere.
I don't have a speaker. No.
We'll have
I have a little, the local company, Cruisin' Tunes, I have a little speaker from them that I put on handlebars just as I'm riding. Okay. And I don't like wearing earbuds because I don't want to be cut off and distracted from what's around me.
No,
but
I don't
the little
either.
speaker, I can hear everything around me, and I can hear the music or podcast or whatever I'm listening to.
Totally.
And, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, Adam. This was great, and our talk was awesome.
Oh, good.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it drafts out.